Yo, what is up, my fellow virgin boy? A1 like steak sauce, can never take a motherfucking loss. I'm in this bitch sauce to fuck up. You already know how we get in this bitch. Today, we're going to react to the fight business as always. UFC 306, O'Malley versus Dvalishvili. A deeper dive and shit like that. Listen, I'm going to let all the UFC fans know right now. I really don't care about this card only because, like, I like Sean O'Malley, but it's just like the aura isn't there. I might get hate for this, but like, Sean O'Malley is an absolutely fucking beast. Like, you feel me? He's a good striker, good. You know, he's pretty good. Like, he's really good. But I do feel like that knee changed the whole game. But I'm gonna just say, like, on some real shit. Oh, my fault. On some real shit. On some real gang shit. Sean O'Malley don't got no aura, bro. I'm sorry. Like, niggas might want to fuck with him because he's sharp and all that. But, like, it's like his shit not really, like, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, I'm not hating. I got some shit to get off my chest.
It all started over a jacket.
He's running. He bought a replica. He's wearing it. He's trying to do as many interviews as he can. He's like, holy fuck, this is what it feels like to have anyone give a fuck about me.
The only reason anyone knows Marab's name is because I handed him my jacket.
Got postponed because of brotherly loyalty.
Stop it, buddy. We was already looking at Marab, but like, he's a good fighter, but these niggas just wrestle too much. Like, I know it's mixed martial arts, but like, that shit be getting boring. And yeah, that shit really, but like, outside the cage, that shit really no. Like, you feel me?
Loyalty.
Because your teammate is the champion. You said you won't fight him.
This is good problem to have. Like, you know, we are clinic division, and that's a good feeling.
They went their separate ways.
What the fuck did he just say?
Clinic division, and
You said you won't fight him.
this is good problem to have. Like, you know, we are clinic division, and that's a good feeling.
They should have put subtitles there, buddy. I did not know what the fuck he just said.
They went their separate ways, destroyed their detour adversaries like they were supposed to. Now, weeks away from UFC 306, the most breathtaking UFC event ever hyped, we're on the verge of collision. In the world of mixed martial arts, when a top grappler and a top striker emerge, they're destined to clash.
I mean, Sean O'Malley versus Marab Dvalishvili is a fascinating clash of styles. I don't know that you're gonna find.
Yo, Biggie, she really bad as shit. Like, yo, whoever her husband, you a lucky man, bro.
A bigger clash of styles, but if you look and you dig, you can see opportunities for both of them to get the better of each other, and that's what I love in a good fight.
At UFC 306, Sean O'Malley makes his second bantamweight title defense against the most deserving contender, Marab Dvalishvili. In the co-main event, the only one
Alexa Grasso kind of bad, bro.
is against the most deserving contender, Marab Dvalishvili. In the co-main
Damn, holy.
event, the only women's MMA championship trilogy ever reaches its conclusion as Alexa Grasso defends her title against the division's greatest, Valentina Shevchenko.
Such an important fight for just women's MMA in general. Like, this trilogy just sets the tone for so much that's going to move forward.
Also slated as a featured bout after being postponed from UFC 303 is the veteran prospect featherweight showdown between Diego Lopez and Brian Ortega, what was already
That's gonna be a good ass fight.
intriguing has only grown more fascinating.
Whether we call this UFC 306, UFC Sphere, UFC Noche, or simply the event funded by Saudi money, one thing is for sure, the fights will deliver.
I feel incredible about it. I can't wait. It's gonna be
Conor McGregor should have been on this card.
it's gonna be fun.
I can't wait to see how you solve the puzzle.
Welcome to the fighting business. This definitely ain't UFC 300 level as Dana White promised, and I'm guessing the production in the arena itself will make this a spectacle. Or maybe that was just Dana White being Dana White.
And like I said, they're using this much of the capabilities. I'm going to use this much. I'm going to put on the greatest live sporting event anybody has ever seen. What we're going to pull off there.
Now, say all these niggas just wrestle all night and just fucking is a snooze fest. That's gonna be a waste of absolutely money, bro. You feel me? But still pay them that check.
Will never be done again.
The three top fights, though, are worthy of TFB Deeper Dive, 2 championship bouts, and a better late than never featherweight contest. So, here we go.
Welcome to the fucking fighting business. You feel what I'm saying?
Thank you to the fighting business. Absolutely amazing. One of my favorite new channels going right now.
Diego Lopez versus Brian Ortega. I'll start this one off by a flashback to the dreaded UFC 303, the night Conor was supposed to fight Chandler and Hill was supposed to fight Khalil, and these two, Lopez and Ortega, weren't even initially on the card.
All right, guys, here I am again. Conor McGregor is out of 303 versus Michael Chandler with an injury.
Stuff happened, and with
that shit broke my fucking heart, bro. No bullshit.
Conor out, the UFC arranged this banger of a fight, and we were all looking forward to it. But
then bullshit happened.
Brian Ortega is out of the co-main event against Diego Lopez. This is an unprecedented situation because Diego Lopez is still fighting. We have an opponent, and it's Danny Gay, lives right around
fresh off the couch, niggas.
The corner.
Quite a few people pointed out, but Ortega just looked off throughout the build-up, appearing downright ill. In just hours, and I'm talking literal minutes before he was supposed to make the walk to the cage, Ortega withdrew from his fight with Lopez, and a savior by the name of Danny Gay stepped up, and Lopez, who had gone through the worst roller coaster ride of his career, fought him instead. Danny Gay and Diego Lopez went to a decision, and according to some, Lopez was exposed as he couldn't finish Danny Gay, who had accepted the fight on a few hours' notice, but who really finished Danny Gay? No one. And Lopez had gone through a crazy 24 hours, so the dude was obviously not at his best.
Him having to move to 55s, him taking an opponent on, what, like 10 hours notice or something? I don't even know when it was.
Brian
Ortega dropped out, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So it's like 3 hours notice.
3 hours notice. I mean, that's crazy, right?
Afterwards, both Ige and Lopez requested that they be on the Sphere card, and Dana White kept half of his promise at least, and Lopez is on the Sphere card against Brian Ortega once again. I'm just sitting here, fingers crossed that this fight happens and Lopez doesn't end up fighting Volk or Alex Pereira with half an hour notice. I've gone through this matchup.
Stop it.
In the previous deeper dive, but here's a refresher. Diego causes a lot of damage, and Ortega is known for enduring a lot of damage, but following the UFC 303 debacle, here are a few questions and factors we need to consider. It was revealed later on that Ortega withdrew due to a bad weight cut.
He was acting very strange during the weigh-ins yesterday, and yeah, it was definitely, he was definitely off.
It was so bad that he got a fever and his body started shutting down. You have to wonder, given the size of the dude at 145, are we gonna see a repeat? And if not, will Ortega even be at 100%? If he's not, then Lopez, still one of the most destructive finishers at 145, might just be the one to actually finish him.
Ortega needs to just go up a weight class or just, you know? That nigga got rich. Y'all see him right there? You feel me?
Much like Ige, Ortega has not been knocked out, but I can say one thing for sure though. If Ortega manages to survive and Diego ends up gassing like he did at UFC 303, the prospect dream will end right there.
It's going to be like, okay, you got these hungry lions coming up and wanting to take your spot. Are you able to hold down your situation and your position?
This is still a veteran versus aspiring contender matchup, and I'm hoping this happens because this has a violent first-time finish written all over it. Alexa Grasso.
Before you even start to get there, buddy, I'm gonna let everybody know this right now. These chicks fought like 3-4 times. I know he just said it and I just forgot, but they fought a lot of times, bro. We already know what's going on. If you watch UFC, you know. If you do not watch UFC, do your research, buddy. You feel what I'm... Relax. But you feel what I'm fucking saying? Do your research. We just gonna get right to the point on this situation, bro. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and just feed myself information I'm not trying... You feel me? That I already know, but I'm not... You feel me?
Versus Merab Dvalishvili.
Alright, let's separate everybody here.
And thus the foundation for the biggest grudge match in bantamweight history were laid. O'Malley was in the cage that night to hype his upcoming fight against Sterling, but he went after Merab instead. But back then, the chances of Merab versus O'Malley happening were slim to none. Merab Dvalishvili was the divisional boogeyman, proven without a shadow of a doubt, and O'Malley was a protected Conor McGregor wannabe, and his luck was
he just cooked him.
Going to run out in the very near future.
Проектом и позиционирует себя, хочет быть как Макгрегор, вот, но я уверен, что исход просто будет другой.
I don't know what happened when Merab lost to Ricky Simon, but since that loss way back in 2018, Merab quite literally became a machine, a treadmill Terminator who routinely attempted double-digit takedown and only landed a few, but he kept winning and winning.
At UFC 278, Merab faced his biggest test up until that point, the great Jose Aldo, and let me remind you,
It's Jose Aldo, my brother.
This took place in Salt Lake City, and while almost everyone on the card gassed out a round in, Merab didn't. He held Aldo against the cage for the most part and did no damage, but
that fight was boring as shit. Like, damn, what the fuck happened, gang?
it's not easy to just neutralize Aldo like that. That was his 8th win in a row, but he needed one more, preferably against a former champion. In the first main event of his career, Merab faced former champion Petr Yan, who, by the way, was still looked at by many as the actual champion. This was a pivotal matchup at 135 between two top contenders, and the odds were close, with Yan as a slight favorite, but the result was something none of us saw coming. So as I finished watching this fight, I actually thought to myself, okay, I'm salty. Remind you, I was very salty. I told myself this should be illegal.
49 takedown attempts?
It's insane.
Holy shit.
I mean, that's like that frantic pace he was doing, sprinting for 25 minutes. I'm like, how is that even humanly possible?
And his nose is literally the worst nose I've ever seen in person. I was like, holy shit, you're ugly.
Merab attempted close to 50 fucking takedowns, landed 11 with not a single strike on the ground, but he was just so relentless that even a cerebral fighter such as Petr Yan did not know what to do. It was a dominant decision win for the machine, and more than enough for him to get a title shot. 9-fight win streak at 135, and even if he wasn't the most exciting, he was the clear-cut #1 contender.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all, bro. I fuck with Merab. Like, he's a funny boy. But his fighting style is just like, that shit don't add up, bro. You feel me? Like, that's why I'm like, I know O'Malley gonna whoop his ass. But if Merab start doing that wrestling shit, Sean O'Malley better come up with some fucking Leon Edwards, some shit, bro. Like, he just gotta.
The UFC was perfectly willing to give him a title opportunity, but
like, oh!
himself refused because the champion, at that time, was his best friend Aljamain Sterling. Months after Merab's victory over Yan, Sean O'Malley faced then-champion Aljamain Sterling at UFC 292. It was a card built for O'Malley, but very few people gave him a shot.
Chael, I need your prediction. Will he find the chin? Will he win by knockout?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he can knock Sterling out. Look, I think Sterling's going to stay too busy. I think he's too smart.
Obviously, having a close fight with Aljo, I got to go with him. You know what I'm saying? I think O'Malley hasn't fought now the competition that Aljo has fought.
According to most, he was protected by the organization and allowed to beat up no names with barely any skill, and that one time where he actually fought a credible opponent, he either barely won or flat out lost. There's a lot of truth there. O'Malley had just one controversial, might I add.
Yeah, I ain't even gonna lie. That Petr Yan and, you feel me, they gotta do a rematch. I'm not even gonna lie. But Petr Yan got, you feel me?
W over Petr Yan and was granted a title shot. The UFC definitely held his hand and guided him to the main event of UFC 292, but in the octagon, Sean O'Malley was all alone, face-to-face with the long-reigning champion who was his worst matchup. And O'Malley alone defeated Aljamain Sterling to become bantamweight champion. The Sugar Show had officially begun, and the title challenger was obvious, Merab. No one else made sense but Merab. But as the best friend that ever existed, he stayed out of the talks, and dude probably even prayed that Sterling would get his immediate rematch. This royally pissed off a lot of people, UFC executives and fans, and when Aljo moved up to featherweight, Merab finally started demanding, but it was too late.
O'Malley's first defense would be against Chito Vera, the only guy to beat him. There was a backstory behind it, and the two did not like each other, so it made sense, for them at least. Meanwhile, Merab, and you gotta give him credit for that, accepted a fight against Henry Cejudo.
UFC 298, Merab faced Henry Cejudo, and aside from a little bit of trouble in the first round, he served us a reminder why he was called the Machine.
Yo, my fault, yo. I'm locked in, like, this shit, like, in real time. You feel what I'm saying? He breaking this shit down for us, B. So, like, I'm trying to lock in like y'all, but, like, I know y'all expect me to, you know what? Let's lock in.
Grappling and ragdolling the Olympic gold medalist for a unanimous decision victory. UFC 299, Sean O'Malley headlined the stacked pay-per-view, and he beat the shit out of Chito Vera for 5 full rounds.
Bro, I fuck with Chito, bro. I wanted Chito to win. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all niggas, bro, but it is what it is, man. UFC is the greatest thing of all time. You man?
The most important lesson we learned that night wasn't his power, skill, and precision, but the fact that O'Malley could keep it up for 25 minutes if he had to.
Sean O'Malley painted a masterpiece. He had an opportunity to fight a guy that beat him before. Dude, he was so focused. He set so many traps, and he really just fought the perfect fight.
UFC 306, we are finally getting Sean O'Malley versus Merab Dvalishvili. Striker and grappler, long, rangy striker versus short, stocky wrestler. Precise knockout power against suffocating, relentless pace. Here's how a large majority of people think this fight will play out. Merab closes the distance, gets a hold of O'Malley in an instant unanimous decision with 50 takedowns. But it ain't that easy. 3 fights ago, O'Malley was regarded as a talented striker, but that KO over Sterling and the mauling of Chito, and Suga is now widely considered the best striker in the division. To implement his wrestling game, Merab will have to get close, and with the movement range and knockout threat of O'Malley, that's way easier said than done. As impressive as Merab has been in his 10-fight win streak, he has been hurt and rocked as recently as his last fight, and if Henry...
Ooh, that's a good key point, my brother. You know what you're talking about.
Cejudo is able to land on you, you best believe O'Malley will too. And it takes one precise punch to drill respect and fear, and even the best wrestler in the world will think thrice about getting close.
I love knockouts. I love putting people's lights out cold. That is always the goal. But
You see how he just starts spitting? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this nigga random as shit. Like, listen, like, lock in real quick. I want y'all to, like, really lock this into your brain cells.
I love knockouts. I love putting people's lights out cold. That is always the goal. But again, I'm always prepared for a 25-minute war, and you got to
You see what he just did there, bro? Nobody peep. You know what I mean?
be prepared for a 25-minute war against someone like Merab.
But if he does, just
That's 10 negative aura points, dude. So I fuck with Sean O'Malley though. But he just like he just funny as shit.
one intense chain wrestling sequence. Just as Merab hasn't faced a striker as good and precise as O'Malley, Sugar has not faced a grappler as persistent and relentless as Merab. Sterling was a fantastic grappler, but he isn't shooting 100 takedowns per fight like Merab does. And just like it takes one punch to get the wrestler to fear to stand up, it takes one takedown to make the striker drop their hands in fear of the impending takedown. Both O'Malley and Merab are unique personalities, eccentric and even goofy to some, but inside the octagon, in the main event of UFC 306, you will see the best striker in the division facing the best wrestler in one of the most anticipated bantamweight clashes of all time.
Locked in.
Diego Lopez faces the toughest test of his career on his road to title contention. Alexa Grasso looks to finally put Valentina Shevchenko behind her, and the two top bantamweights in the world, representing the epitome of the classic striker versus grappler clash.
UFC hire this
what
nigga.
should be a UFC for the ages. If these fighters deliver like I think they will, this definitely will be one.
UFC hire this nigga,
If you
bro.
try to get access to the music playlist for this
Real rap. Like, this nigga really him, bro. The fighting business is the real business.